I love that woman. The year was 2011, and that smile on her face is a mask. A mask for pretending that everything was okay when she was broken inside. Now here's the thing. She had everything she ever needed. She had an amazing husband, 3 beautiful children. She had the job that she wanted, her 401k, right? Everybody wants that. And she had everything that you can imagine, things that people wish for, but she was broken. And I wonder if some of you can relate to that. When life is perfectly perfect, things are going well, and you can't figure out why the void, why you feel alone, why you feel scared, why you feel like you're not fulfilled in life when things are going well. Maybe there are trigger points sometimes. Sometimes you lose a job. Sometimes you lose a loved one. Sometimes you break up in a relationship, and that triggers you to feel that way. But then there are other times when nothing triggers you, and you're just empty. You're sad, you're running on empty. That was me. And I didn't have an explanation, but I did want to get out. I wanted to get out. I felt in my head, is it a dream? Is this a dream? Is this what I signed up for? And I'm like, no, it's actually a nightmare, a terrible nightmare I want to wake up from. I hated my life, and I couldn't understand why. So that nightmare went on for about a year. And I wanted to wake up so bad. And then one day I did. I got a knock. A really hard knock. It was cancer. And it came looking for my husband. I remember this day like yesterday. We were in the Poconos. He was 3 months into having cancer, and you would never know it. He was vibrant, he had life. He loved life. He lived every day like it was his last before cancer. And I just didn't get it. I didn't understand where that joy came from. Like, we got bills to pay, we got kids, we got a kid with autism on the spectrum. Like, how do we figure this out? You know, it was just overwhelming to me. I'm working 10 hours a day. There's no time to do anything. You want to watch TV? No, I'm tired. Like, it was overwhelming for me. And this day, I remember watching him with the kids on the slope. And they were having the best time. And I was standing there and I felt like the world was passing in front of me. And I felt like, you know, when you're in the middle of Grand Central Station and everything's just going fast. That's how I felt. I'm like, how can people be going on with their lives when my life is falling apart? I didn't get it. I couldn't understand. And I wanted to be present just like him. He was enjoying, he wasn't thinking about cancer. He was thinking about getting on the slope, picking up his kids, having fun, and teaching them some skills. All I could do was grab my camcorder and start recording so that I can try to be mindful and present. And I really tried to be present. But it was a struggle, a huge struggle. But I did learn to be present. Around April 30th, 2013, we decided that Marlon, and I say we because it was a joint decision, that he needed to go into hospice. And hospice, for those of you that don't know, is not a hospital. It's a place where you literally go to die. And it was a very tough decision for us as a family, because we felt like we were giving up, but we really weren't. We were giving ourselves hope to reconnect as a couple instead of me being his caregiver at home. I wanted to sit and just relax and talk with him. And we made that decision. And around May 5th, I'll never forget that day, May 5th, he was laying on his hospital bed. And I was sitting in a chair, and he became really irritable. He became very upset, visibly upset. And he started yelling, but he hardly had a voice anymore. It was almost like a Godfather-like voice. Like, he tried to yell, and he was yelling, and he was pissed off. But he wasn't pissed off at his situation. He was pissed off because Carmelo Anthony from the New York Knicks missed his shot in the playoffs. I kid you not. I recorded this for my children as I was sitting there. I watched him and I was like, I couldn't believe with my own eyes that a dying man was living more than I was. He was pissed off at the Knicks. He was yelling at them. And I didn't want him to see me recording because, that would be an indication that I knew of what was coming. We both knew. But he was present. I wasn't. I was already jumping ahead, thinking. And that showed me so much of what it means to be present. That day prepared me for May 7th, 2013 at 11:22 a.m. At 11:21, I stood in front of his bed and I watched the labored breathing. It's a breath I will never forget. And I watched it and I observed it and felt it, but I was present. And I realized that this was a gift to be able to stand before him and watch him take his final breath. And when he took his final breath, his death sentence was my life sentence. And I mean life as in living it. I learned how to live that day. In his last breath, he gave me life. And I walked out of the hospital. That's an actual picture of the sky that day. That's outside of Calvary Hospital in the Bronx. I took that picture and I was so present. I was able to appreciate the beautiful blue sky and it gave me peace. I felt like everything was going to be okay. And I continued on with my life as best as I could. And then people started asking me questions. The questions were pretty interesting. I was trying to be present and mindful, and I was working so hard to be happy for my children. And the people around me that knew me knew how hard I had come to get to this state. The people that didn't know me were confused. And therefore they started asking me questions that I felt were invasive. I felt that they were in my space. For example, are you financially okay? How are you going to support your children? And these were people that never had concern for me before, but now wanted to know a little too much information. So I handled it with humor. I was like, no, I'm not really looking at me. I'm pretty much looking for my sugar daddy, because I felt invaded. They asked me questions about medication. Are you medicated? Because they felt that I was faking it. And I wasn't faking it. I was present. So I would joke with them and be like, no, but do you want some? I didn't know how to handle it and diffuse it because now I was going to church and I was, Christ-like and I wanted to be proper and didn't want to offend anyone. But was I depressed? Yes. Was I sad? Yes. Was I broken? Yes. I even wanted to take my life. But not here. Not at his funeral. I was my strongest. That's when the warrior in me was born. I was strong. That day was power, a celebration of life. I got it. Here, the before, is where I felt all those things, where I couldn't handle life. And she's a beautiful soul. She's very powerful. I love her so much because she brought me to where I am today. And she was a warrior, and she's always been. But somehow she lost her way, and she couldn't figure out how to get back. I remember the things that would bring me joy were kind of trivial and crazy, and may sound a little bit inappropriate, or very inappropriate. You guys all work in the city, I'm sure, most of you. Penn Station, Grand Central Station. When there's a crowd of people and you're walking and everybody's just like in the rush to get everywhere. And I'm one of those people that's just like, you dart for it. And do you know when people cross in front of you and you're like, why did you do that? Like I had a clear path and you're just, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, why? My anger, right? You guys all know. But here's the difference. I don't know if you do this and don't share it. If you do, I was that person who had, you know what road rage is? I had walk rage. So if you stepped in front of me, I was going to step on you. And then I was going to give you a look like, oh, I'm sorry. So it confused people, right? Because here I am, well dressed, and I'm apologizing. But that was my rage. That rage was toxicity. It's how I lived my life. I was very negative. I lived that way. That's what brought me joy. Instead of my family bringing me joy, and my children bringing me joy, and my husband, and all the amazing things around me, I took pleasure in pain because it made me feel validated in some way. It gave me control back. And that was really, really sad. It was a misuse of power. But I knew that I had to change, and the change had to happen now. This picture is actually in the Dominican Republic. I was there 3 weeks ago. And anyone that knows me or follows me, that is my signature jump. It's like, I own it, I love it, I do it everywhere. I'll embarrass you if you're walking down the street, I'll take off my heels and jump. I want to do it here, but Jai says for insurance purposes I can't do it. So I'm sorry, I'm happy to show it to you, dress and all. But it's my signature jump, and it really is joy. That is how I live my life. I live in the present moment. Yes, it's not perfect. By no means is my life perfect. I just become aware of that life has many choices, and they're mine for the taking. So this transformation did not happen overnight. In trying to save my husband's life, I actually saved my own. When the doctors told us that he had 2 weeks to live, I started taking charge of our life, and I decided that there has to be another way. We started doing things like going to yoga, meditating. And my husband was a man's man. He played street ball. He couldn't be bothered with all this stuff, but he was open to everything to see if we can extend his life. We started sleeping early. We turned off our phone at 8 o'clock, no social media, spending time with our children, taking vitamins. We had like our vitamin check. We even had a $2,000 juicer. We were so into juicing, we went and got like Norwalk, which is the best juicer on the market. We were so into juicing. He would juice 10 times a day. I learned all these methods, and they completely changed our lives. It helped him extend his life 5 more months. And yeah, right? That's huge. Huge. When you're given 2 weeks and you extend it by 5 months, in those 5 months we were able to have conversations that I don't know what I would do if we didn't have them. Like, do you want to be cremated or buried? Things you never want to talk to someone about. He told me to remarry. He's like, you gotta marry again. Don't stay alone. And don't be cheap. He thought I was very cheap. He did, and he said, don't be cheap. So I still keep that. And I'll ask him later on when I see him again what he meant by that, because I don't know I don't know where I failed to, But, so those things, it was very powerful. So, with that being said, let me introduce myself. I am Kenia Nunez, and I am a mother of 3 amazing children. I am a fierce widow. I'm a wellness coach, and I'm a creator of a program that is so near and dear to my heart that I feel like it's my 4th child. It's called Savvy Me, and Savvy Me saved my life. It saved my life. And I'm here to share that with you. I want you to know that no matter what you're going through right now, you have tools and you have power. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it from you. But you need to know how to get back on track. Yes, we need to pray. Yes, we need hope. We also need action. So I'm here to share with you how self-care is a form of self-preservation. Can we all say that together? The count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Self-care is self-preservation.
I want you to own that. The moment that you feel lost, you feel confused, remember that power is yours. happiness is an inside job. No one can give you happiness, not your husband, not your children, not anyone, not your job. None of that matters, because what happens if you lose your husband, if you lose your job? What happens? You have to take charge of your own life. You have to be responsible. It is a responsibility, and it is actually so not, it's incomprehensible how you can put that on someone else for them to give you happiness. I did that to my husband. I expected him to make me happy. And he tried, but nothing he did would ever measure up, because it was my job. And I learned that. So now let's get into Savvy Me, and I will show you the elements of it, and it's not about perfection, it is about awareness. So Savvy Me is an acronym that I created when people started asking me, what are you doing to feel better? What are you doing to be present with your children? I started writing down all these things, and I kept sharing with people, and I was getting tired. I was like, I like giving people information, like, I don't know, I'm sleeping more, I'm working out, I'm going to church, and it became overwhelming, and I started writing it down. Maybe I could give people this formula, and this acronym popped up at me, and it was perfect and beautiful, because Savvy is witty, right? We're all witty, and it's not about being witty all the time. It's about being witty some of the time, because we need to leave room for growth. And that space, when we are not our best, is when we are learning the lessons, and the transformation is also taking place. So Savvy Me, the acronym: sleep, an alkaline diet, vitamins, validating others. Y is for your purpose, M is meditation, and E is exercise. You don't need to take notes. I have bookmarks out there. If you haven't grabbed them, go ahead, grab one for a friend, and you can share it. So we're gonna start with S, with sleep. So sleep, in this day and age, we're in a state where everybody is running on empty, and we're not sleeping, and we think that it's not important, and we'll sleep when we're dead. And what's happening is that we're actually gonna get to be dead faster. Yeah. And that's why my husband was able to heal and extend his life also, because those 2 weeks we were actually going to bed at 8 and waking up when our bodies told us to, versus like the clock. We actually turned off the alarm. The kids were late like many times, but that's okay. And they're fine, right? They get us back, we're good, yeah. So electronics, so important. So many of us go to sleep with our electronics. Put your electronics away 2 hours before, so important. The best way I could describe it is, you know when you walk down the street and you look into someone's house and you see like a blue light when it's dark, and you see the TV and it's bright? That's what's happening with our phones, but we don't realize it. So be mindful that you don't see it, but that's what's happening. So your brainwaves are on fire and you cannot get to sleep. Bedtime rituals, create them. What's gonna help you sleep better? Is it praying? Is it reading? Is it having a cold room? Darkness, measure that. Is your room messy? Does it feel like it's suffocating you? Super important to look at your space. Maybe your sheets are uncomfortable. Your mattress. And strategies are super important. And so many people that I coach and talk to, and I say, this is what you should try, and nothing works. If you say nothing works, then guess what? Nothing's gonna work. So move on to another strategy, very important. Alkaline. Basically, the quick and dirty of alkaline is if your body is either in an alkaline state or an acidic state. And all that means it's healthy or not healthy. Your body has a pH level of 7. Your food has a pH level. It's either above or below that. And some foods are basic, some drinks are basic. When you have a Starbucks coffee or something like that, it's obviously acidic. And I love Starbucks, by the way. But the point is that you have to have that balance. If you're constantly eating acidic foods, you're gonna be in an acidic state, and acidity leads to inflammation. Inflammation leads to ailments, which leads to chronic illness. So that's why it's important to have an alkaline diet. Water, just squeezing lemon into water helps to alkaline the water. And just really being mindful of maybe planning your meals. And nothing crazy. When people ask me what I eat, I try to meal prep on Sunday, but I eat the same thing all week. I'm not a picky eater. I don't go crazy over that stuff. I keep it simple, keep it clean, and there you have it. I try not to eat out, and I know what's going into my body. And emotional intelligence, you feel better when you eat better. So just try it for a week, or do a juice cleanse or something like that, and you'll see the difference immediately. Vitamins, we are in a state of It's vitamins versus medication is what I should say. It's really crazy what's happening. When Marlon died, I went to a psychiatrist. My employer had suggested I go to a therapist, and I just happened to end up with a psychiatrist. And I went, and the moment I sat down, he asked me why I was there. I told him my husband died, and how do you feel? I'm sad. Immediately, wrote the prescription. Shouldn't I be sad that my husband died? Isn't that normal? Should I be happy? So it's like we're suppressing feelings. Why can't we feel what we're supposed to feel? If we're mad, it's okay to be mad. If we're sad, we just need strategies. I don't need a pill. I need a minute. Right? So that's the problem with that. So many people take medications for headaches. Maybe something like magnesium will help. Maybe getting better sleep. Maybe it's your diet. It's not the pill that's going to fix it. We need to dig deeper into ourselves and become an experiment. Like, that is what we should focus on. And let food be thy medicine. Basically, everything is intertwined in Savvy Me. It's let your food heal you. If you don't take vitamins, at least change your food. Validation, my favorite. Because validation is a selfless act. I remember when my husband had stage 4 cancer, I didn't know he had stage 4. He was hiding it from me. And the reason I found out was because he was watching The Walking Dead. He loved The Walking Dead. I hated The Walking Dead. And I was laying in bed with him, and I was on Facebook. He's like, hey, can you watch a show with me? I'm like, no. Watching Facebook is so much more important, because I don't even know where I'm looking, right? And he looked at me, and he said, okay, put the phone away. You can be on Facebook all you want when I die. And I was like, whoa, what was that about? I looked at his papers. I found out he had stage 4 cancer. He never told me. Validation is about doing things that maybe you don't want to do, but it's for someone else. If your husband wants to watch a show, it's cool. Watch it. 30 minutes is not going to kill you. Pretend you like it. Pretend you don't. Whatever. But just be present. Whatever it is, just be present. Be mindful. Writing love notes to your kids. Looking at them without having your phone. Yes, yes, we all do it, right? And they check me because they know the Savvy Me method. My kids check me. I don't think you're validating me, Mom. And they use it. It's messed up. They start using your own words, and I'm like, oh. And they check you. So it's good. So validating is selfless. It's for someone else. It has nothing to do with you. And you may be thinking, I already do that. No, think. You may be doing something for someone else that you're doing because you want to. Ask them what they need from you. Watch them. See what they love. Because it's very different. Sometimes we give, and then we're frustrated, right? Because we're giving so much and we're not appreciated. But in fact, it's because we are giving ourselves more, giving others what we don't have. And that's where I lead to you. And this is all about you. This is selfish. When I love asking people, what do you love to do? And I was asked that question by my cousin. And I yelled at her in 2011. I was like, nothing. She pissed me off. She knows it. She's sitting right there. She pissed me off because she invaded my space. When she asked me that, I didn't have an answer for her. And it pissed me off because I had no purpose and no passion. So when I ask people, what do you love to do? They always refer to either their children or community. No, you is about you. Be selfish. What do you love to do? What did you love to do as a child? What brings you joy? Something really selfish that's just for you. Do you love to dance? Do you love to maybe just be on the beach, take a walk on the beach, just escape? Not even exercise, because that's an act. It's something that is very selfish. And it's a question you should really ask yourself and dig deep. And you'll be interested in seeing how difficult it is to maybe answer that question. Be your best. I am my best every day. I am 100% my best. My best today, I'm in warrior mode. My best on Monday was brushing my teeth. And that's all I had. When you feel like your best is all you have, that you can get up, brush your teeth, and get back to bed because you need to recover, that's your best for that day. Don't even question it. It's all good. Your best is different every single day. And don't judge yourself. Create community. This is how I met Jai and Mingwei and Paulina, who connected me to all these amazing people, and Karina. This is community. I needed a sisterhood that would support me and my voice and give me a platform. And this is why I'm here. So start connecting with people who can lift you so you do not feel alone. And financial planning is so important. And I think this is so critical. No one wants to talk about it, right? But it's so important. The reason why I was okay after my husband died and I was able to get a minute to breathe was because we did have life insurance. The life insurance did not make me rich. It allowed me not to lose my house. I didn't pay for my house, but it allowed me to be able to pay my mortgage for a little while so I can get my act together. And it's so important. I got life insurance at 25 years old. Why? I'd just gotten married. And someone came to rain on my parade and told me that I should get life insurance. Why? Because she was a widow. She helped me. I'm here to pay it forward. It's very important to look at your financial planning. You will leave your family a legacy. The moment my husband passed away, I looked at my life insurance. It's never enough. I have to raise 3 children. I have to send 3 children to college. I have to, anything they need, I have to provide. I don't have a sugar daddy. The sugar daddies don't exist. They're not out there. And if you know of one, please send them my way. So, I'll give you a finder's fee. I'm not even kidding. So there is, one for Paulina. So there is, you have to be mindful of that. And now is the time to get life insurance. If you're healthy, it's an amazing opportunity because the moment something goes wrong and there's a little tweak in your health, everything changes and it won't cover you and all these things. So just being mindful of that it's so important. It's not for you, it's for the people that you leave behind. There's enough in suffering. They don't need to. Imagine me losing my husband and losing the house that I had to raise my children in. Like, at least I was able to give him that. And that makes me feel good. Meditation, so important. Meditation's very broad on the spectrum. It is about, you can meditate on the Word of God. Meditate reading a book, whatever meditation is. And my yoga teacher would say that's not meditation, it's contemplation, whatever you want to call it. But at least it's relaxing. Maybe it's breathing. Everybody take a deep breath, let's go. How often do we do that? We forget. It's so important to take a minute to relax. There's amazing apps that you can tap into. There's headspace.com that's for you, like for the first 10 days. There's like the 21-day Oprah one. There's meditation music, free online on YouTube. Take 10 minutes to check out. It is so important. It will help you recalibrate. And it's just better for an overall lifestyle. Exercise. Everybody throw out their scale when you get home. Everyone. I'm serious. I'm serious. I am so serious about that. If you are exercising to see that scale move, that's a sign that there's deeper things going on in your life that need to be addressed. I started working out because I was desperate for change. I just happened to lose 50 pounds in the process. I went from 170 to 120 pounds in a matter of 5 months. And I was physically stronger than I have ever been in my life. And that was when my husband was diagnosed with cancer, because I didn't know what to do with my energy anymore. I couldn't fall apart. I couldn't decide that I wasn't going to be present at this point because I had no choice. My kids had a sick father. Cancer came in so vehemently that I knew he was going to lose his life. In my heart of hearts, I knew it was very vicious. He lost his life in less than a year and a half. So I knew I had to take charge. So I started exercising. That's where I started. I became so physically strong that I was able to be an amazing caregiver to my husband. We didn't need anybody else to lift him, to help him. When he couldn't walk, I was his crutch. He was 6'1". He gained 40 pounds of edema in his legs. And I was able to carry him, help him, bathe him, keep his integrity, because he didn't need anybody else to help him. His 120-pound wife was strong enough to handle it all. I helped the paramedics down the steps to carry that stretcher and put it in the ambulance. So take that whole thing about weight loss, fitting into that little black, all that stuff is cute, but it's deeper, so much deeper. So let's recap. Savvy me. Sleep. So important. I want you guys to honor that more than anything else. It is super, super important to honor your sleep. If you don't sleep, your body will not be refueled. It will not recalibrate. And when you are not in a good state emotionally, you cannot be there for someone else. An alkaline diet, very simple. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Learn about it. Go on YouTube and learn what an alkaline diet is. See how you can open your cabinets, get rid of all the stuff. Anything that's in a package, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Read the ingredients. If you don't know what the ingredients are, throw it out. Just be mindful of your food. Be your best advocate. And vitamins. If you're on medication, think a little bit deeper. See if there's something else I can do. And I am not against medication by any means. I think it's so important to honor the fact that medicine helps tremendously. But our body has an innate ability to heal itself if we allow it to. And validating others, so important. Because we don't know what tomorrow holds. And I was able to validate my husband in his final months, and I am so grateful for that. And we don't know what anyone's expiration date is, so it's really important to give love to those that really matter. Get off of social media. Give them time, put it aside. All those people don't even know you're watching them anyway. Yeah, just schedule. I schedule my social media time, and it's interesting because I work off of social media, but I literally set time when I look at my social media because it takes so much time away from my children, and they also keep me in check, so. And your purpose, find your passion, find your heart, what fuels you, what brings you joy. What did you enjoy doing as a child? What brought you child wonderment? And go back to that and maybe do it. And meditation, being still with yourself, just a few minutes a day. Give yourself that gift. You can afford 5 minutes, I promise you, in the car, in the bathroom, and exercise. So I thank you, friends. I really appreciate being here. I am so grateful, Jai, for this opportunity. And I hope that you go home today with some value. I really wanted to be here today, and I said a special prayer that all I want for today is to be able to add value to your life, the way people added value to mine and gave me a new sense of living. So thank you so much for hearing me out.